built a custom lore generator in Unreal Engine, and everything you see here was made by AI. Hi everyone, my name is Trevor. I currently work as a lighting artist in a video game. I'm making this short video to show a little project I've been working on that uses ChatGPT inside Unreal Engine. This project isn't groundbreaking or new. I think many people have explored this idea already. Maybe the same project actually already exists. But the other day I was thinking about AI and how it could be used creatively in video game. So I came up with this idea to generate new item names and backstory. This whole thing is completely new for me. I've never done anything like this before. Honestly, I just wanted to learn how it all works and see what I could come up with. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are messy, probably wrong and not optimized, but that's kind of the fun. It's more of a personal experiment than anything polished. I was just curious to take a first step into using AI inside Unreal and see what's even possible at a basic level. Another goal was to do the least amount of work possible and have the AI do most of the work. In the end, it ended up being more work than expected, mostly because I had never worked with widgets ever, which is why it looks rough here. And also, I never worked with blueprints in this way. So yeah, the idea is to have two buttons on the screen. The first one would generate two random items with a backstory. So those items and backstory are from a data table. I basically asked ChatGPT to just give me 10 random items with a backstory. And the second button is to combine the items. So this is the AI part. The AI would read the two item name and backstory and combine them into a new one. So here's an example. We have Dagger of Whispered Blood and the Crown of the Hollow Course, and we have a short sentence to give a little bit of backstory. And the AI created a Whispered Blood crown, and the text says forged from the blood. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This means that you could potentially have hundreds of items, all with unique name and backstory created automatically by an AI, and you could combine them in different ways without having to write entirely new stories or backstory for each one of them. I could also imagine a scenario where, for example, you have a weapon that can be upgraded with different parts, and each part could add its own backstory to the weapon, or even if this project were push way further, you could even add new effects or unique traits randomly generated by AI. Another interesting part is that you can give the AI a personality. Like right now on the screen, you can see that the backstory is pretty generic. It's almost just putting the two phrases side by side. And that was one of the big challenges that I had on this project. The AI really has a hard time sticking exactly to the prompt. I really needed to use very specific word and instruction for it to follow the format. I had a lot of time where the AI would follow the personality, and then the second phrases, it would revert back to some generic thing. It was the same with the prompt. I wrote it directly inside Unreal Engine, and I noticed some weird behavior. Since the prompt includes variables like the two item names and the backstory, sometimes it felt like the system would override or forget the intended tone and personality. So I had to do a bit of a hack by injecting certain keywords into the prompt itself, just to make sure the AI would stay in character and remember which personality it was supposed to use. I also played around with the settings like the temperature, to try to influence how creative or chaotic the responses were. In the end, I kind of realized that the game changer was the prompt itself. The wording, the structure, and the way I framed the instruction had the biggest impact, and I was kind of surprised how some minor tweaks had a big influence on the response. Honestly, this project was mostly a way for me to learn more about AI. So the way I set up my prompt or my blueprint, maybe it's not correct, and it doesn't follow good practices. Another tricky part was when I do a print string to see what the AI response is, it spits out a lot of text, and it's not really the info that I want to extract. And since I just need the new name and the new backstory, it was tough to grab only the right parts. Also because the prompt is basically always changing depending on the item name and backstory. So this is why sometimes the formatting or syntax looks off. I think this was one of the biggest issues that I had, just extracting the part that I needed, like the new name and the backstory from the full AI response, while making it follow the personality. But honestly, if I was even lazier, I would have just slapped a print string on it and call it a day. But yeah, the real issue is that the response is a big chunk of text, and parsing it clearly inside Unreal wasn't easy. But I'm sure that a real dev, not a vibe coder like me, could solve that in 10 minutes. But for me, it took some trials and error, and it's still clunky. But obviously the system, they are really at ground zero, especially the complexity of the generated backstory. To be honest, it's very basic and not that interesting. But as a backup system or placeholder, I think it would work fine. But yeah, I had fun creating different personality and seeing the new response. No, actually, I'm kidding. The AI came up with the personalities. It's the same for the visual. I use Midjourney to create placeholder images, and for animating the background, I use Google Gemini. Thanks for watching.